Now, how am I going to have a show and I forget to put myself on the screen? What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talk the Real Deal with Talk the Real Deal with AT2, and I'm your boy AT2. Hashtag TTRD. What's up, everybody? How everybody doing? Oh, what's up, Queen? What's up, Wendy? Shout out to my mods. I see Yvette and Mina holding it down. I appreciate y'all. What's up, Melissa? Thank you. Everybody loves my intro. What's up, Jennifer? Queso Official, Kimmy Renee, Red Hot in the building, Mary, Devs in the building as well, too. All right, you guys. So I wanted to, what's up, Laura? Nakenya, what's up? And Sarah, I see you too. Jessica. All right, you know they hate when I shout out people. Before I start, what I wanted to do was I went ahead and pinned up on the top. If you guys see on the live, I went ahead and pinned it. But the information for the investigator on this case, this is still actively going on, and there's many lawsuits on this man, Darrell Johnson. Again, there are many lawsuits on this man, Darrell Johnson. It has gone federal as of now because of everything that has gone on, and this dude is very, very, very shady, and I don't think people realize how bad it was. And somebody in the film actually mentioned, when you Google him, you don't really see that much information and stuff like that. And I think that's how one of the people actually got in contact with me because they were able to Google it. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and pull up a picture for you guys tuning in for the first time. You might be tuning in for the last time. I don't know, but hopefully you stay around. There he goes, Darrell Johnson. So Darrell Johnson is the man, yes, very dangerous as well. Darrell Johnson is the man that's basically known for being R. Kelly's crisis manager. He was famously known for saying in that interview, like, I wouldn't leave my daughter alone with R. Kelly. And then he tried to renege and backtrack. Well, it didn't really work out in his favor at all because he ended up getting fired he quote unquote said he stepped down. But this man has been going around scamming people allegedly. I don't even know if I have to say allegedly anymore because if it's went to the court and some cases have been ruled, it's a fact, right? He looks like a Marvel villain. What's up, Natasha? Thank you for joining the show. Oh man, y'all said a Marvel villain. All right, y'all. So I want to apologize because I kept changing the time and stuff like that because I thought I was gonna have to go back and rewatch like 20 minutes. I found out I only actually missed 2 minutes of it, and then I didn't want to keep y'all waiting too much longer because I know y'all hate when I keep changing and flipping the time and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into the film. So the first person, or the docuseries, the first person that they brought up was Richard. Richard was approached by Darrell for some kind of real estate deal. Now in this case, Richard actually had people that he known who had business dealings with them, and they said like those business dealings went okay. So he was unaware of all the scamming and stuff like that because I know that's a lot of people mind, like, where are they getting all this money and why are you giving this money to strangers and stuff like that. A lot of people are really confused by all that stuff. What's up, Miss Magic? What's up, Odie? Thank you for joining. A lot of people are confused by that. So, around the time Richard was 27 years old, I don't know what he does for a living. Like we know Cola, who I talked about in part one, she actually was the one that's kind of spearheading this thing, and we know that she's an author, so we know what she does, but I'm not sure what Richard and a few other of these people do as well. And part three, we'll know more people. What's up, Janice? So he ended up giving him 40,000 without any paperwork. And the docuseries, you'll see that Richard was kind of ashamed to say, like, yeah, he did it without any paperwork. But I get it, because if your friends are telling you, like, hey, this person is getting some paper, this person is cool, I did a few business dealings with them. You kind of take them for granted. Now, I ain't got 40,000 to give, let alone $40 to give nobody. I'm gonna need to see some paperwork for me. For me, this is a different time period and everything like that. For me, I need to see some paperwork, and I'm pretty sure for a lot of you out there, y'all need to see some paperwork too before you do some dealings with somebody. But he trusted him because of the relationships he had with people that he known. Because you guys have to think about it. A lot of these business people are friends with each other, and a lot of business is done by word of mouth. Should that be the way you always do business? No, I don't think you should always do business by word of mouth. That's not the best thing to do at all you know, but that's how a lot of business people do their stuff. It's just unfortunate he didn't have any paperwork for this. One of the things that I noticed a lot is that he was very flamboyant, very loud, very out there, very flashy and stuff like that. So that's a lot. That's a lot of the stories that you'll hear. They mention that a lot about him, and he would tell these grand, elaborate stories and stuff like that. Remember I told you that Cola actually had her glasses taken by this man. Well, it's funny because Richard had his Rolex taken by Darrell. And basically what he said was like, that Rolex is about 10K, but the parts inside are about 25K. I can take it to my jeweler and blah, blah, blah. Well, Richard didn't end up getting his Rolex back. So it seemed like he has a history of all like, oh, let me see, let me see this. So he's probably out there wearing his Rolex. You never know what these people are doing at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. What's up, SM? I see you. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And they said I'll be begging. So if you got $1 or two, go ahead and drop it. So anyway, like the other story, Richard basically got the runaround when it came to like, hey, what's going on with the whole real estate deal? Where's the money at? He said that Richard said, he after a year, he was suspicious of the relationship, and then after 2 years, he finally went ahead and got a lawyer. He spent up to $10,000 on that lawyer. Now it did. Now the interesting thing that I found out is that Darrell never actually showed up to court. This man right here, the scammer in chief. The scammer in chief did not show up to any of those court dates. Finally, the judge did rule in favor of Richard. He ruled, between 75 to 80K, 80,000 that Richard was owed from Darrell. But because this man right here, Darrell, doesn't have any money, Richard didn't get any payment or anything like that. So Richard didn't get recoup any of his money or anything like that. Basically, it is what it is. You can always sue somebody. I always say that. When people say I was getting sued, you can always sue somebody. But if the person doesn't have any money and doesn't have any assets, there's not really much you can do, because this guy has been lying about his whole lifestyle, his whole career. You know what I mean? I wonder what his crisis manager is. Oh, that was a good one. Janice said, I wonder who his crisis manager is. Facts, right? All right. So really, Richard knew that it was going to be a hard time trying to get money out of him and stuff like that. But he stated that really his whole thing was about bringing awareness to this and just right from wrong. He also has stated that he has not talked to anybody, the feds or any law enforcement. He has not talked to anybody. Now, he said if he has the time and they reach out to him, he'll talk to them, but he's not going to seek it further, because basically at this point, and it's hard for us to understand because we ain't got the money to give like that. But for some people that do have the money and basically they call it a loss, they just throw their hands up with it and be like, okay, I'm done. It's done. It's over with. I'm not gonna keep on pursuing this or anything like that. And I'm sorry I don't have screenshots of the actual victims, you guys. I apologize about that. But at this point, Richard is kind of like, it is what it is. I just want to bring awareness to this. And this is why I'm doing the interview. And he basically wants to bring awareness of, what happened with him, because obviously this has happened to a ton of other people as well, too. And there's a lot of people that Tasha K could have interviewed, but they didn't want to, relive the story or, really go public with it, because it is something, and I hate saying that you should feel shame, but you do feel shame when you get hoodwinked or hustled out of your money. How many of us out there have been hustled out of our money? Let's go ahead and do a quick poll. I like to be interactive. The people that watch the replay don't like it, but I always love communicating with you. Press 1 if you have been hustled out of some money. Press 2 if you have never been hustled before. Now, I know some of y'all are going to say 2. So press 1 if you've been hustled. Press 2 if you have not been hustled out of some money before. Let's go ahead and do a quick countdown real quick. Y'all ready? Mina said the Columbus House. Y'all remember that? Oh, some of y'all saying 2. Y'all lying. Red Robin, you lying. Odie, I see you lying. Y'all lying out there saying y'all ain't never been hustled before. Them damn Vegas showgirls. Well, you are getting a trade back though. It's not necessarily you getting hustled. You kind of willingly getting hustled. You know what I mean? Oh, Ray Robinson said 2-4 to be hustled. That is no, you never know. You can still be hustled and don't have any money. It's happened to me. That's how I know. Anyway, something that I did find interesting is that Richard actually did confront Darrell in person. He happened to be at an insurance place, and Darrell was doing some business there. He walked in, the lady got spooked like she seen a ghost and was all like, whoa, like what's going on? And basically he said, can I talk to you outside? Now, he said the only reason why it didn't get physical is because, one, he was worried about his daughter, and he had to think about it, but he really said that there was a lot that he thought about, a lot that he wanted to do, but he really couldn't because he didn't want to mess up himself. And at the end of the day, people don't play around about their money. So you definitely are lucky if you are hustling people out of that kind of money and you still living. You are definitely lucky. Let me just put that out there. Because I know people that don't play about $5, let alone 20, 30, 40, 50, and so forth, Let me see. Oh, and another thing, because, his friend was the one that kind of introduced it. Why am I sweating on my lip? His friend was the one that kind of introduced Darrell, introduced Darrell to Richard. So he didn't say his friend's name, but his friend kind of was the person that said, oh, I know this dude, blah, blah, blah. Well, his friend was actually scammed out of $30,000. But what his friend did was actually come up with like this fake business plan. He didn't exactly say what the business plan was, but he came up with this fake business plan and told Darrell, like, hey, can you invest $20,000? So Darrell ended up investing $20,000, and then the dude just kept the money. So he didn't get his $30K back, but at least he got 20. At least he got something out of it. But still, it's all like, dang, he had to come up with a creative way and create this whole fake business plan just to go ahead and get his money back. So it was like people would have to trick him into getting their own money back, and it's like it shouldn't have been that way at all. Now, this part I really didn't understand, where Richard had said Darrell had asked him if he could hold $15K and then give it back to him later. I don't know if Darrell was trying to hide some money or something fishy was going on. I don't know exactly. It didn't really go into detail, but Richard was kind of saying like, dang, I should have held on to that $15K, because at least I would have had, some of my money back. But, he ended up giving them the 15K back. And so, like I said, the last thing was that, he hadn't gone to any of the feds or police regarding this. He kind of just left the situation as it was. All right. So the next person that Tasha spoke to was Otis. And Otis, he was looking for different like leasing spots and stuff like that. And Darrell interrupted him all of a sudden. And Darrell was kind of like, hey, can you hit me up after, come see me after you're done and stuff like that. So, he had a meeting with the leasing agent. They're showing him places and stuff like that. So after he was done, Darrell had approached him, was all like, hey, I'm trying to open this restaurant, but my friend, AT2 sent screenshots. Oh, thank you, Mimi. I appreciate that. He ended up sending, Darrell had approached Otis about potentially opening up a restaurant. He said he had a friend, and then his friend ended up dropping out. So Darrell actually had a business partner, and not Darrell, Otis, the guy, Otis, the victim. He had a business partner and was able to go in 30 and 30. So basically, Otis put up 30,000, and then the business partner put up 30,000. Now they didn't say what Darrell actually put up or put up anything. We just know that he was the majority business. He had the majority of the business. So the way it was split, he still had the majority, and they were kind of like the minority. But the thing that Otis did that was actually smart was actually make sure he had enough fun. He had it notarized by his bank. And so basically he was in control of the contract, because something that ended up happening was that Darrell was trying to kick Otis's partner out. And let me go ahead and put Darrell back up there for those of you wondering. Darrell is the alleged scammer right there. So Darrell tries to kick his friend out the business, and was all like, hey, I don't think that basically alluded that the contract wasn't legit or anything like that. And he was trying to get Otis to kick his partner out. He's like, no. Now, he did say something, which we all know this from the other people, is that he's very slick with his words. He knows what to say. He kind of studies people. And the thing is that Darrell said he was in the area kind of just looking, looking around. But the way that Darrell is, he kind of scopes people out. He kind of looks for certain people, and then boom, he ends up. So basically, he knows, and people who are business savvy know that you kind of link up with other people and kind of stay in certain areas and know how to talk to people. And so that's what he was able to do. He said he felt that he knew something about him, because he was all like, God sent me over to talk to you. That's what Darrell said. Darrell said God sent him over to talk to him. Now I'm gonna just say something. I don't think God told Darrell to go over there to that man. I think it was some kind of demon spirit or something that sent him over there. But I know God did not send him over there to try to scam that man out of his money. Now, Otis did recognize something that was very interesting, that I found interesting. A lady came in and was like, hey, talk to the waiter, and was like, can I speak to the manager, who's the manager here? So Otis went over there and spoke with this lady, and the lady said, hey, Darrell, your business partner, scammed me out of 80,000. And he was shocked because, the lady said Darrell scammed the husband out of 80,000. So Otis was kind of like taken aback by it. And so right then and there, he knew that this guy was an actual scammer. You know what I mean? He knew right then and there this guy was a scammer, but he still went along with it. He kind of thought about it, but he still kept his distance with it, But he was already in this business contract, but he wasn't worried because, like I said, he had it notarized by the bank and everything like that. So he wasn't worried about it. But you find out that somebody you went in business with is a whole scammer. You kind of like, wait, what's going on? Yes, Darrell is on the run. As I know for right now, nobody knows where he is. So right now at this point, they invested 30 and 30, so a total of 60,000 into the business. That Darrell does have most of the business ownership, but it's still a partnership, and no decisions can be made without the three of them making that decision or whatnot. Also, what also Darrell did was try to hide the books and try to hide all the finances as well too. So Darrell, this man right here, was hiding all the finances and did not want to give any information or anything. Hey, Cola is in the building. Thank you, Cola, for joining the show. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming around. I was just giving a recap of the show right now. Everybody say hi to Cola. Yes, he was R. Kelly's partner or whatnot. What's up, Nolani? Thank you for joining. Issa Detroit, I see you too. Madison. All right. So that man right there hid the books and everything like that, was trying to hide the money, didn't want them to see anything. So no telling, because the thing is when you invest in a business, you don't get your money up front right away. Usually you're trying to recoup funds and stuff like that. So they knew they weren't going to see the money right up front and stuff like that. But you don't be trying to hide the books and all that stuff. Now, one thing I don't know, and maybe I missed it, I don't know if the business is still around or what necessarily happened to the business if they ended up kicking this guy out. That part I still exactly don't know. But Otis did go ahead and talk to detectives and stuff like that regarding the situation. Now, what is funny was when they went to sue Darrell, when they talked to his lawyer, this man actually scammed somebody else out their money, and he was actually getting sued already. And there was multiple other people who he told were going to be partners in this, but he just took their money. Now, the other people, I'm assuming they didn't have contracts like the way Otis ended up doing his contracts and stuff like that. So these people did not have contracts like Otis did. So this man was able to get away with other people's money, basically. And also, Darrell Johnson scammer. Make sure you guys check that out on Instagram. That's where a lot of these cases you can see. It's not all of them, but a lot of the cases. And as you guys know, I went ahead and pinned up on the top the phone. If anybody has any information or you have been victimized by this man, please call that phone number. I actually have it right here. Hold on. Remember, it's 713-884-3131. There you go. I'm going to leave that up there for a minute, you guys. And thank you for everybody joining. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And Cola, let me know if anybody mean to you in my chat. I'll cuss them out for you. No, everybody in my chat is cool for the most part. For the most part. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and then I'm going to come back with the last story, and then I'm going to see if I can ask Cola a few questions. What's going on, We'll be right back. Hold up. Hey, you. Are you tired of being single? Me too. Here's your chance to finally find the love of your life. You need to come on my show and be a contestant. You can either be the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. We'll set up 3 contestants to go ahead and try to win your love and affection. We're going to have all types of different challenges and games on the show. Make sure you guys tune in for more details. This is going to be fun. Hopefully we can go ahead and get the show piloted and then potentially make some money on this. But to entertainmentbooking@gmail.com. Again, that's, are you following my finger? ET2entertainmentbooking at gmail.com. Make sure you send me an email if you would like to either be a contestant or be the actual bachelor or bachelorette on the show. All right, y'all. Deuces. Remember, that is at2entertainmentbooking at gmail.com. We have so much great stuff coming on, and remember, that is going to be the dating show. But back to business, you guys. Cola, I'm going to finish up this last story, and then I would like you to join me. Let me go ahead and skip forward to the chat. Okay, so this one is interesting. The last story was from Mike. I had ended up getting the email 2 days ago, but I didn't see it until last night at like past midnight. Somebody reached out to me and was all like, hey, if you have any other questions, you can go ahead and ask me. I'm here to I'm here to answer them. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I emailed them back. Well, come to find out, that person that reached out to me was actually Mike. Mike is also somebody who got scammed out of their money as well too. And I hate saying like that, but I have to preference it like that. So what ended up happening is that he actually was out of 22. He gave Darrell $22,000. So what ended up happening with that? He was flying from Philly. Happened to be sitting next to Darrell. They're kind of chopping it up. He was always interested in doing real estate. Mike, he was always interested in doing real estate or getting into it, investing his money. I don't remember exactly what he said he did for a living or anything like that. So first he gave him $10,000. Mike ended up giving Darrell $10,000 to flip this LA apartment and stuff like that. What ended up happening was that it was kind of like he didn't see any recruitment of his money. It was supposed to be like between like a 30-day turnaround. Didn't see any money for that. But then he came back to him like a few weeks later, and was like, "Oh, you know what? I have a gas station. What do you have to invest in this?" And he gave him $2,000. And so, he was supposed to get a return of like 40% or something like that. Didn't see that money either. And then the final thing, he said, hey, I have these condos in Miami. And this was around the time the Super Bowl was supposed to happen. So he was supposed to rent out this place. Darrell, let me pull up a picture for you guys joining. What's up, September? Thank you for joining the show. I know people hate when I shout people out, but this is a live show. You should be here live if you don't like it. Let me pull this man up. And I hate pulling this man picture up, but for people just joining and don't know who he is. There you go. So he said, give me 10,000. Give me 10,000 and I'll invest in this condo. The NFL is supposed to be renting it out for the Super Bowl. Also, Jay-Z was allegedly a partner in this as well too. And so it sounded like a good deal. So Mike was giving him money and hadn't seen his return yet, so he was taking a risk, which is a definition of an entrepreneur is a risk taker. Because I know some people are like, well, why are these people doing this stuff? Entrepreneur is a risk taker, and sometimes you have to take risks. So I just want to give the other side of the coin, because I know a lot of people have that question, like, why are these people trusting him and da-da-da-da-da. It happened. That's all we can say. I don't want to victimize them. They've already been through enough, and we appreciate them telling their story. Okay. Anyway, he said, after he didn't see his money for the first project, he got skeptical and everything like that. Again, Darrell does his whole disappearing act where he goes away and never comes back. He ends up not, the communication is so far in between and few communications and stuff like that, where you don't know what's going on. Basically, this man is playing games with you. Just like Cola, he also sent him pictures and stuff like that of locations where he was. Now, what he did say was Darrell was not that smart, because he would leave the geotags and the timestamps. So stuff like that wasn't adding up. Also, he went ahead and Googled him. And I think this is how Mike found me, because you don't really see too much about the whole scamming thing that he does. You don't see too much of that, right? So you think that Darrell's like this cool guy and stuff like that. And you see the R.Kelly stuff, and the interview and all that stuff, and he's been on TV, but you don't really see too much of the scamming thing. And I think that's how Mike was probably able to find my website, and then that's how he contacted me. So anyway, so he ended up after he was playing the games and stuff like that, Mike ended up sending a text message over to Darrell showing him like, hey, I see this felony case, because he was able to find this felony case, you know? Thank you, Unstoppable. Yes. Yeah, it goes hand in hand. Exactly. What's up, Janae? I see you. All right. Where did I leave off at? Y'all know this is live. This is live. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. And also, I have the phone number down there. If anybody has any information on this man, please call 713-884-3131. All right. And so after that, he went ahead and not him, not the scammer, but Mike, the victim, he actually ended up going to the police with this. He filed a report and everything like that. But he said at the time he filed the report, it didn't really seem like there was any like pressure or any kind of, how do I put it? Like, it didn't seem like there was any concern to really do anything like that. He basically filled out the police report, and then that was it. And then after that part, I don't know if it was my internet. I don't know if my internet, you know, the internet, my internet was messing up or not, but it stopped. And then, like, it was like, you can go ahead and catch the replay. And it was kind of like, oh, okay. Well, that was the end of that. So hopefully I do get a chance to talk to Mike as well. Cola, if you're still here, what's up, Christina? If you're still here, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link right now. Or if you already have the link, please go ahead and join in. I'm gonna play your favorite commercial right now. We'll be right back when I find the commercial. There's a hater in my house. Took a while to figure out. There's no way you could have all that jealousy. A demon is in your heart. 'Cause you shouldn't hate me like that. And you shouldn't treat me like you do. You should adore me, so I'm gonna ignore you. So I'm convinced there's a hater in. Pop quiz. Tell me why you hating. Tell me why you're mad at me. Why are you so angry? Why me? Or could it be that you're filled with jealousy? Why you have so much envy? Is it I want more for me? And you remain the same. All right, y'all, we back. People love that commercial. All right, Cola. Just click on the link, and it'll take you to it'll say like you want to join. Turn on your camera. Now you don't have to turn on the camera part, but you can just do the microphone if you just want to do the voice. You can do it on your laptop or on your phone. Okay, while we wait, I'm gonna go ahead and just tell you guys what I thought about ultimately over the whole thing. I thought Tasha does really good with the interviews. Tasha can really interview her behind off. I'll tell you guys that. I think that this is her niche to really do this with the whole interview thing, because there's a lot of times where, you know, you see Tasha and it's all like, oh, she's all about the mess, she's all about this, she's all about that. But I think Tasha is trying to rebrand herself, so you have to respect it. So I thought she did a good job. I would still like it to be more like a documentary style. Excuse me. And I know I keep harping on it. So like, why you keep saying that? It's because you know she can do it, and you know she's capable of it, and she got the money to do it. You know, me, I gotta use StreamYard for everything. Let me see if Cola can hop on. One moment. Hey, Cola, are you there?
I can't hear you guys. It's very distorted sound.
Oh no, it's funny because you sound really clear.
Should I hang up and then come back in?
Yes, go ahead
Okay,
and get out and then or exit out and then come back in. Okay.
indeed.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Let me go ahead and drop the link. What's up, Nelly? Nelly, thank you for joining. Okay, and the link ain't for everybody else. It's for Cola, just in case she needs it again. Yes, but as far as everything else, because like sometimes I feel like we have to take emotions out of things because there's a lot of time people be all like, "Oh, you say this and that and you praise these people." It's so like I don't have to like her personally, but I have to respect another content creator and let you know when they're doing great and let you know when they're doing bad. It goes both ways. Rasha, you almost missed basically the whole thing. But luckily Cola is here, so you didn't miss that part. But overall, I really feel that the whole production side of everything like that. I hope Tasha still continues to do this. Also, one thing that I'm happy about is I ended up keeping because remember I was going to cancel my Patreon subscription, but I ended up keeping it luckily. So I'm gonna keep it for another month. If she keeps producing stuff like this, I will definitely go ahead and keep it. Device is not connected. Cola, if you can hear us, go ahead and reconnect. It said device not connected. Wonder what happened. Hopefully it's not a problem with the stream. Right, Kimmy seems to be turning over a new leaf. Right. Yes. Let me see if I can call you. Yes. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna play another commercial. You guys, we'll be right back.
I think what you're trying to ask is why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture. I think that's what you're asking. I have no choice over it. In the first place, to me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. So again, I think I've said this before in the same interview. I think at some time before, my job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves.
Hey, you guys, can you hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me at all. Press 1 if you guys can hear me. Oh, okay. You guys can hear me. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to give Cola a call right now. Bear with me. Oh, it's very broken. Ah, man. It's still very choppy. Y'all said it sounds like I'm on a flip phone. Hold on, y'all. Oh, hold on real quick. Hey, Cola, can you hear?
Excellent. You sound so much. You sound so much clearer.
Oh, okay, you can hear me. Okay, there we go.
Yes. Greetings.
Perfect, perfect. All right, thank you so much for your patience through everything. Technical difficulties. I'm a one-man show.
I understand. Get it? Is it A2?
What was that?
Is it? How do I pronounce it? Is it AT2?
Yes, it's AT2, or you can call me Andre.
Okay, excellent. Thanks. Thanks AT2.
All right, Cola. So I have a few questions for you, and I just want to say thank you for coming on. I really appreciate that.
No, thank you for extending the platform and allowing us to speak. Greetings, everyone. Thanks to everyone for being so kind and for sending well wishes. So we're just grateful to be able to have a platform. Unfortunately, as victims of white collar crimes, we've not really had that support.
Right. Exactly. And does it seem like now, fast forward to today, does it seem like you guys are getting the support that you need, or is it still kind of far few in between?
We're not getting that support from the legal system. Um, White collar crime is so hard to to um, to begin. It's a process, and to be able to make to penalize the criminals. It's really hard. So, like the other day, the city is not necessarily connected to this. To the DA in the manner in which like it's just like a automatically walk through the door and tell them what you need help with. So like the other day I was speaking with the city's white collar crime division, and they were telling me all of these steps that I needed to take, in which we've taken. Like we've gone to the police, we've filed reports, and so I was sharing with them, well, we've done those things, and there is an FBI investigation. So the lady who was taking the call, she's like, oh, we're not connected to the federal. So FBI process is totally different from our process. You have to still
Hmm.
go back down the chain of commands and do your due diligence before we on this level can begin to investigate your crime. So it's a little disheartening, which is probably why Darrell has been able to continue to move around without any type of criminal charges, because
Yeah.
it's really hard to prove white collar crime. And in the words of the individual who spoke with me and who called me from the DA's office, she was just like, there's just a lengthy process improving white collar crime as opposed to petty theft or other criminal activity like drugs and things like that. It's totally different. So you can get discouraged, and it's at one point, because most of the victims here that we've come together and found were African American. We were kind of like, oh, this is it because we're African American the system doesn't want to protect us or help us?
Right.
um But when we begin to look across the board, there is some disparaging things that happen because we're African American. But when we spoke to some other white collar crime victims, they too have been discouraged by the system.
Mm, okay, that's what's going on. And so, with that, also, can you kind of just say, do you know exactly how many victims are out there? That how many people Darrell has scammed, like a rough number, or is there people that won't even talk to you guys or don't want to be associated with it?
We've spoken to about 15 people. Many of those date back to like 2003. So the statute of limitation is run out. So they're not able to be a part of the criminal investigation that the FBI is currently
Ooh,
on running. Or that causes it to become a white collar crime. Prior to my report, a lot of these victims were just shuffled through the civil courts. And then when we received advice on how to seek criminal charges, then those of us that fall within that 5 year time frame are able to be a part of this current investigation. But there's some people who've like lost their businesses. um there's some elderly people who are just overwhelmed. They're elderly, they're wanting to live their
right,
lives, and unfortunately they've had their retirement stolen, or they've lost their businesses. Many of their marriages have been put under the pressure of this financial burden, and they really are just too tired to really want to fight in the fight. So those of us that you see now have the mentality like, we understand we're not going to get our money back because there is no money to be gotten, or
right,
he doesn't have anything. So, but right now the whole thing is we can't continue to allow him to walk around and victimize other people. There was a young man that he victimized that did not survive the pressures of it, and he committed suicide.
Oh no, that's horrible. Oh
Yeah.
man. Ah. And and I understand just from like hearing about him and like watching the docu series, it seems like he preys on the vulnerable because at the time, and hopefully you don't get offended, but you would say you were vulnerable at the time, right?
I'm still very vulnerable. My mom unexpectedly transitioned, and
Right.
it just happened in 2019. And
My
so
condolences.
thank you. Like, if you see, I get emotional, which is probably like, I still get emotional. Like, I just recently had a breakdown last week. um
Ugh,
because it's hard. Like, so for me, yes, I was very vulnerable. And it's been a challenge because in one sense I'm battling, advocating for my mom some justice after her unfortunate death. And then I have to turn around and battle for someone who has caused injustice to my family, because my family allowed me to be the liaison to go out and fight for our mother. And then
okay.
I linked us up with someone who was not of integrity, and who was a manipulator and a con.
Right. Did he ever give you any kind of paperwork that showed like I'm gonna do this, that, and that, and this? Like because I know there was a contract. Like did the whole process seem legit, or at the time you was like, hey, if he can help me with my mom, boom, perfect.
We did have a contract. We did have a contract, and in the contract it does detail what his task that he would be executing. Yes. And so that made, and then when he constantly refers to his public appearances on credible news sources, when you do have a little concern, or you feel like, wait, something is not right, when you feel suspicious, he'll remind you, but no, I was on Gail King, I was on CNN. And because I come out of
Right. Giving you his
journalism,
resume.
yeah. And you do trust those to be credible news sources who do their journalistic investigation. I know when I worked for KPRC Channel News here in Houston as an intern, and when I worked on radio in DC, my program director was not going to let you go on the air as an authority unless you've investigated and done your journalism research. So you do think that those type of outlets who have credible sources and are going around the world, you really believe that they've done their investigative journalism research before they legitimize someone like Darrell? Because when you see him on their show, they
Mhm.
legitimize him by saying R. Kelly's crisis manager or
Right.
a publicist. And when you go back and do his when you go back, this was his first, i.e., crisis management gig. He had never done this before.
Right, because I was gonna say, I know you said that it did say something crisis manager on the contract, but like, was that a legit company?
Um, Apparently he's been the R. Kelly allowed him a level of prestige, and so he does have the paperwork that says he is a crisis management company, but there is no history. There is not, like, there is a company that's called, I think it's CMSI is what his company is called. And when I googled them, I said to him, I said, well, I found a company, because I was questioning his clientele, because the only
Right.
person that I kept finding was R. Kelly. And I felt like if he would have really been representing Felicity Huffman and Bob Kraft, I should have at least had some public record of it. And
And I
so,
didn't find that either because I did try to Google like how he was related to Felicity Hoffman case, and I was all like, I know you had said it, but I didn't see him connected to it. I never seen him on TV or anything like that. So I did Google that. I'm glad you brought that up.
yeah, he says that the only person that I know that he's been documented on in print being associated with is because he sent it to me. It's Praz, of formerly of the Fugees. He had someone in Page Six to write an article saying that they had spoke with Praz's crisis manager Darrell Kelly about a felony that Praz was facing. So that's the only other person in print that has a
Mm,
celebrity status in addition to R. Kelly, that you can, that provides him or shows him having some type of professional relationship in doing crisis management work. But other than
right.
that, that was what I was going to say was I found a website of a real crisis management organization, but it was owned by it was a firm owned by a Caucasian man. And so when I asked Darrell, I emailed him. I was like, "Hey, I did find this CMSI, but it doesn't have you as a principal. So are you working underneath this company, or do you own the company?" And he was like, "Oh, no, no, no. I'm just very discreet because of what I do."
Oh, this man.
And at the
Wow.
time, you don't think, do I need to go check for a DBA and all of this stuff? You just, you're hopeful, like, wow, perhaps this is someone that can provide me with some support to help me bring awareness to my mom's unfortunate and untimely death. And you're gleaming for hope. You're gleaming because even in that, you have an African American woman who went into a medical facility for one thing, and she didn't come home. And during those days of us being in that particular hospital, there are some things that happened that alluded to that, Black people shouldn't be receiving this type of service. So you just feel like, who's helping me?
Right. And it's funny that he said that he didn't like to work with black people because they don't pay, but look at him now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a part of his ploy. It's a part of his scam. And when you sit back and you go and assess, he's very calculated. He is gifted in the sense of being able to read people intuitively. But he has just learned to use his intuition in a self-serving purpose, as opposed to being of service for the betterment of humanity.
Right, exactly. And hopefully I'm not pushing the line with this question. Of course, you don't have to go into detail, but are you pursuing any kind of justice for your mother, or has this kind of taken over that?
No, no, we are pursuing justice for my mom, and that won't stop, which is why I reached out to Tasha K, because in even in the process of seeking justice for my mom, it's a little slow. And I was just like, you just feel there are days, I'm sorry, I get a little emotional.
No,
um
go ahead.
there are days when you're like, I just can't let this go. Like, you just can't do this to my mom and I don't do anything. So you just start throwing out, throwing out, asking people to help you all over again. So I don't think
Right.
I'll ever stop until I get some satisfaction. Um, my mom was an amazing, which I know everybody's mom is amazing. So as you know, this is my mom.
Right.
And
That's your
so,
mom. You better brag about your mom.
yeah, yes, thank you. So, yeah.
Yeah. Another question for you. This one is kind of funny because I want to
Okay.
lighten it a little bit.
Thank you.
When when you would go to the restaurants, right?
Yeah,
And the bill
okay.
would come. What would he do when the bill came?
Oh, God. 18, he would like, he started going to his bag and stuff and fumbling. And I'm like, really? Like, this guy, why is he doing this? And then so I was like, and the funny part about it, my husband is really straight to the point, right? He's a
Hmm.
very straight to the point, no nonsense person. I'm a artsy, as you know, artsy person. So I'm already an emotional, empathic, feely flower child, right? So I would come home and I would be telling him about it, the experience, and he would go, "Did you pay for dinner?" And I'm like, He was like, how can you let this guy get away with this? You're paying for dinner. And I'm like, I know, babe, but I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I kept going back to this is the thing, because I felt a red flag the second day when he came back and asked for the money.
Right.
At that point, and I told this to Darrell. I told this to my god brother, who was very much in support of like us finding someone to advocate for us, but he didn't like necessarily like Darrell, but he wanted to support me because he was like, "You're the eldest. We're gonna let you take the lead." But and we would have conversations. Even my husband, I was like, "I don't feel good about it, but this is what I would always. I feel like my hand is already in his mouth, the lion's mouth, so I kind of have to ease my way out, because if I become angry and you know just going off, he's going to use that as a reason to terminate the
Right.
relationship. And it just didn't feel right even after the second day. But I was like, damn, I didn't gave him $5,000, like, and even I could have stopped in, but then he would say, he's very cunning. He would say, "This is for your mom. Your mom would not want, your mom needs justice. These people killed your mom. How dare you let them get away with this? I'm going to fight this. You've seen what you see Felicity Hoffman." It just, he plays on all of that. And because you're vulnerable and because you're in a situation where you're conflicted by your desperation and then your intuition, and then you have all these people around you who are looking from the outside, and they want the best, but you just don't know which way to turn. And the only thing I just kept resorting back to was like, I just got to tell the world about the injustice that happened to my mom, hoping that if I shared what happened to my mom, then the hospital that medically caused her to have toxic shock would say,
Right.
like, look, we want to talk to you. And they had spoken to us, but it was just, the lawyers were like, it's just not going to be an easy case. And so
Right.
I just wanted somebody to help. I was desperate.
Yes, definitely understandable because I feel like if we were in that situation, we would all be all like, "Hey, there's somebody who said they can help us. I'm just willing to do whatever I can to get that help." And it's crazy that certain states have that immunity rule. I didn't even know that was a thing until your interview. I didn't know that hospitals couldn't be held responsible. That is crazy to me.
Yeah, and if you've noticed, because Texas is the only state in the United States have their own electric grid. Texas basically has their own
Yes.
educational system. There are certain rules in the state of Texas that provide certain businesses certain protections. Also, in the state of like, if my mom lived in where we were from, DC. If I would have gone straight to the like Mike and them, if they would have gone to the police and provided them with this information, it would automatically been a federal criminal investigation. It wouldn't have been pushed over to civil. So you're not going to probably see Darrell operating like this in DC, because he already know that these crimes are federal. You're going straight to, it's straight criminal. It's not going to be pushed into civil. So, which is why
Right.
when you begin to investigate him, you'll see that there's $1 million in civil judgments against him in the Harris
Whew.
County. Now, in the city is how we got some criminal activity going, because in the city of Houston, they say, no, this is what's called theft to hire. Because I hired him to do a service, he never provided the service. So it's kind of like a
Right.
theft, and he was paid to do a job. If I wouldn't have paid him, then there would be no conversation, right? But because I paid him
Mhm.
to do a service, and then he was going to get paid later once we were able to find an attorney or get a resolve from the hospital. He would get more for that. But it was I've just it's been a learning experience. I'm grateful to God for allowing me to see the light in all of this. It's been painful,
Right.
but at the end of the day, it also allowed me to see, like, I'm pretty much tough girl, like a warrior chick. And I knew my mom's death had impacted me emotionally, but I didn't know it had made me this vulnerable. Even so much to my, like, just now I'm crying. I'm like, damn, am I gonna ever? And I know I'm not. And that's what a lot of elderly women tell me. It's not gonna go away. So this is just
Right.
something strange that I'm having to learn to live with. But I don't have to be vulnerable. I don't. The vulnerability, I'm believing, will just eventually go away as I grow to accept her absence.
And and it's definitely okay that you are vulnerable at this point, because the love, and I can tell the love that you had for your mom, and then having to go through something like this at the same time. I couldn't imagine that. And I just want to say I appreciate you so much for telling your story, because you are helping other people by speaking out and bringing awareness to this, because you're kind of like at the forefront right now. And it's like sometimes you're going to feel defeated, but I'm happy that you're still in there fighting.
Thank you so much. And I do. And last week I felt defeated. A young lady called me today. I have to call her after you and I get off the line. And she inboxed me. She's like, I'm a victim of Darrell Johnson. And I just, wanted to let you know. And he's currently, I know, according to the questions that you sent, we talked about prior to the broadcast, he's currently in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh,
Um,
he is.
he's in Atlanta. He's relocated there. He also has been trying to engage in some business endeavors with people in Cincinnati, in Ohio. They reached out because once they saw Tasha K's trailer, they began to do some research. Apparently, one of the persons on their team saw it, and then they reached
Ooh.
out to us and told us about his activities and how he was starting to do the same things to us, to them, like go to the restaurant, not pay, or he would say he was going to invest a
Hmm.
large sum of money into some of their projects, but then when came time for a meeting, he in turn asked them to give him $40,000 for a project that he was doing. So he
Wow.
is still moving around in it. So if anyone is in Atlanta, Georgia, or see him, you know, I would just
Right.
say, please be mindful and, consider the source. Um, we would all like to think that we're so clever and we're so brilliant. I think that's one of the things Otis talks about, who's a very successful entrepreneur, who's done great business, who's been a professional athlete. And like he said, I just knew I was safe. He was just like, I
Right.
knew
You
I
kind
was safe.
right. You knew you was gonna be all right, but
Yeah.
you really never know.
You don't know when you have someone that is a Lupin or Catch Me If You Can, or because I care type of person, or a Bernie Madoff. These people specialize in that. And I have a friend who works in finance, and she said what happened to you was called switch bait. You were baited and then they switched. And she said she's a trader for a large Fortune 500 company, right? And she was saying
Mm.
they send them through courses to know how to recognize fraudulent activity from people who come to them to trade and make profit on their investments. So she was like, they literally have a class that they have to go through, because people who are into sociopathic behavior and finances and things like that, and they're sociopaths, they study it just like you study to be a doctor, like you study to be a lawyer. He's been doing this for a long time.
Right. Exactly. Well, Cola, definitely I would love to have you back on, because I feel like this is like a developing story. Like I don't feel like this is like a one and done. Like I feel like it's going to be so much more to this. So I can't, like you said, you have a return phone call you have to make after this. So
Yeah,
I
I think
know
you
it's
should
going to
give
keep going.
Michael a call. I mean, and the other victims to tell their story. They're intelligent entrepreneurs. They're kind people who believe in partnership and believe that people can work together. And that's one thing, Darrell plays on that, because he wants you to believe we can be in partnership. Even when he tried to get me
Right.
to invest the additional $50,000, it was kind of like, let's create a partnership. Let's grow financially. We can help each other out as Black people. And so it's not that we weren't intelligent. It wasn't that we had not even researched prior to the those of us that have come forth through Tasha K. There was not a lot of the cases were not in the media, in the on the internet, where they were easily accessed. Like when Michael and I went and dug into doing our research, we had to dig beneath like the Google, and we had to go like to the county internet
Wow.
database, and we retrieved all of those cases and then put them out there, so now other individuals can find them. Because prior to that, the only thing that I had saw was hidden in Twitter in a conversation.
Wow, that is crazy. So there, because like I said, I try to even look him up now, and there's really not too much on him. So the R. Kelly stuff, that's all you really see. So that is true. So you guys had to go to the county internet to really find all this information on him.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, one question I want to ask you before I let you go, I don't want to hold up all your time. Who would you say, who is Cola? How would you describe yourself? Because I kind of want people to know you a little bit, because you are an author, correct?
Yes. Yes, I am an author, children's author. Yeah.
Yes. And how long have you been writing books for children for?
Um, I started like in 2009, but prior to that, I've always worked in the entertainment industry in the District of Columbia. I was an on-air personality, and I produced a lot of R&B events and cultural arts festivals in the district, and
Oh, that's
working.
awesome.
Yeah, and I work in a community of phenomenal artists. Um, and we came out at the same time where the neo soul movement was just launched. So XM satellite radio was very instrumental in creating a platform for Jill Scott, Jasmine Sullivan, Erica Badu. So we were in that vein of
Ooh.
on-air personalities that at that time you didn't have to. You could just, if Jasmine can just put her music in my hand, which she did, we was gonna put it on the air, because XM was just trying to create programming. They didn't have like a PD and stuff like that.
Oh, they didn't have like a structure or anything like that. So it
No,
was
it was just
really like you were in the forefront of it.
yes. And so that's how I got into the industry. And it's been very kind. And at home in the District of Columbia, there's an amazing group of intelligent, culturally conscious people who love art and music. And they've allowed me to grow in that space. And from that, I've come from on air personality to events that I still do, and to being a children's author, because I really have a heart to champion self esteem in children.
That's awesome.
Aside, yeah, I think even in this situation, there is triumphancy through this experience. That once I'm healed enough to go out and share encouragement to other people who may have suffered trauma, that may not be the death of a mother or loss of their wealth, but trauma is trauma. And so my purpose is to provide some strength into their space and allow them to recover the way the universe and the spirit of the Lord is allowing me to recover.
Right. Exactly. I love that. And real quick, who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist,
Or you can give me three. I know it's hard to say who's the top.
I love Erica. I think Erica Badu is a genius in when it comes to art, culture, and telling stories. And she's brilliant, and she's a Southern girl. I'm from the
Right.
South, went from Louisiana, Houston to the East Coast. And there, when you're a Southern girl, you real, you 100, you loyal, you keep it. So when you see, and she's able to bring you into her world through music and storytelling, and she keeps it 100, she's down. So I think Erica Badu is one of the most brilliant talents and creative mind, because she knows how to move you in and out of her world and keep you
Right.
engaged. The other artists, I think, when it comes to being a musical genius, um, I'm a soul R&B soul head, so I would say that person would be D'Angelo. And there's a plethora, and I love the Hamiltons, great people, phenomenal vocalists. So there's
Yes.
so many rich culturally arts people in our community that we can celebrate and champion their music.
Exactly. Ooh, I'm gonna have to have you back on because I love that genre of music. I'm gonna definitely have to have you back on, and we're just gonna do a whole show about music.
Indeed. Now that I would love.
Right. Before I let you go, is there any thing else you want to say as far as like any information you want to give out there regarding this case and regarding, Darrell and everything like that?
I would like to ask if there's anyone that would ever watch or listen to this. Please call the 713 number that you have for the Houston Police Department, because the more victims to come forth, it helps build a criminal case. Because with a civil case, he will never do time, never.
Mm,
He will always walk away, and they'll file liens and judgments against him, but he'll never he'll be able to remain loose on the street and do what he does. Only way he will sit down and have to suffer consequences for this will be through criminal charges. So the more victims or people who even have information on how you were, saved from being manipulated or conned by him because of these interviews that you guys are doing in the YouTube world. Um,
right.
Call even and give those type of tips that help build character with current events, because when things are like 5 years or older, they really don't listen to them because they're past the statute of limitation, and legally he cannot be penalized for that. They can't use that in a court of law.
Right, right. Yes, definitely. Anybody out there watching this right now, you see the number scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Please, anybody got any information on this dude? Like, because it's somebody like that is dangerous, and not even you don't have to be physically dangerous. Just somebody with that kind of mindset and the way he scams people, that is dangerous. Oh no, we lost Cola. Oh no. All right, guys, we're gonna take a commercial break, and then I'll be right back. I'm gonna come back on camera, you guys. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me see. There's a hater in my house. Took There's a hater in my house. Took a while to figure out. There's no way you could have all that jealousy. A demon is in your heart. 'Cause you shouldn't hate me like that. And you shouldn't treat me like you do. You should adore me, so I'm gonna ignore you. So I'm convinced there's a hater in. Pop quiz, tell me why you hate in. Tell me why you're mad at me. Why are you so angry? Why me? Or could it be that you're filled with jealousy? Why you have so much envy? Is it all one more for me? And you remain the same. Thank you guys so much for joining the show today. You're welcome, Cola. I see your comment. I'm just trying to get everything straightened out. I forgot to remove your picture. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, you guys can see me now. All right, shout out to Cola. Thank you so much because, man, like I said, I can't even imagine going through something like this and you're trying to heal, you're trying to process everything and then have to deal with this. You are an amazing, strong woman. That's what I want to say to you, Cola. And thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you for being so brave and being able to tell your story. Other than that, you guys, I want to say today was a great show. We had a little technical difficulty, so I'm happy that you guys were still able to hang out with us and hear Cola's story. Remember, if you have any information, the phone number is down there right now, scrolling. Um, we need to get this man off the streets. Like he needs to get off the streets right now. Because as you heard, he's in Atlanta, and then he's trying to reach out to people in Cincinnati. This dude is, yeah, he's no good. Definitely no good. I want to say thank you to everybody, all my live chatters out there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Everybody showing me so much love and appreciation. Leslie, she didn't tell us when she was gonna release it on YouTube. Usually when she does this, and just like this one, it has to go through the legal process first. So I don't know when it's gonna release on YouTube, but hopefully soon. Um, Other than that, if you guys had any other questions, I'll definitely be reading the comments and then I'll go ahead and answer them. If there's a lot of questions, then I'll come back and do kind of like a follow up. Like I said, this is definitely going to be multiple parts because I feel like there's going to be more people that probably didn't even film seeing this for the first time and they're going to be like, hey, I have a story to tell and I want to tell my story. So definitely, and I definitely understand if people don't want to come on camera and tell their story. If they just would like me to verbalize it for them, I'll definitely do that. Again, shout out to Cola. Thank you, Mina, for putting up her information where people can contact her at on Twitter and everything. Thank you guys for rocking with your boy AT2. We out right now. Let me play the outro for y'all. You know I love y'all. Thank y'all.